Welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. That's a 2013 Chevrolet. It's a big Duramax diesel. It's a 2500. I typically don't work on diesels. This guy drove all the way from the state of Connecticut to come to SMA so we can lay our magical hands on it, apparently. Evidently what's happening is it blows a fuse. It blows a fuse for a cooling fan. Stay right there. I'm back. It blows this fuse 68, which is this fuse right here. And it runs the cooling fan relay, which comes down and, I don't know if you can see on the diagram, but it comes down and runs this cooling fan, which has a speed sensor in it. So this is the electromechanical fan, so to speak. It has a regular like viscous type coupler, runs off the water pump, big fan. And the ECM turns it on when it sees fit, and then it has a feedback circuit to say how fast it's spinning and so on and so forth. But the fact of the matter is it blows this fuse. So he took it to a shop, they checked it out up there, told him there's nothing wrong with it, and shipped him on his way. But since then he's gone through three fuses. It blows it. So I wanted to bring you along. We're gonna look at some diagrams, I'm gonna show you my process, and then we're gonna see if we can't figure it out. I've already started kind of looking at it, just to get some baseline, see what's happening. The fuse hasn't blown yet, but I'm hoping we can find the problem. So the first thing I do when we know it's blowing a fuse is get a power distribution diagram and look to see, just because the fuse says fan, what's it really run? But we can look on here and see fuse 68, 10 amp, it only runs this fan relay. So at that point, I got another diagram, and this is before, doing anything, before proceeding anywhere, so we gotta know what we're looking for. And as I showed just a minute ago, we got fuse 68, it comes into the load side of this relay, and then comes out of the relay and goes into the cooling fan. And this is the solenoid, evidently, to control the amount of lockup the clutch has. I haven't read the theory and operation on that, but I almost don't really need to know. All we're dealing with is this circuit through here. This is the only thing that can really fail, other than the actual component itself. And what we're gonna do, or what my plan is, I'll show you. I've removed the blown fuse. So that's, this is a little 10 amp fuse that was blown. The customer showed me where it was, so we didn't have to look for it, made it easy. And then I installed a circuit breaker. I think Lyle makes these. These ones are labeled, Mac Tools, but it's just a circuit breaker, plugs in the box, 10 amp, so that way there we're not going through a bunch of fuses. And then I've got the Pico out, just so we can use the amp clamp, hooked it on here so we can measure the amount of current that's flowing through the circuit. And then we'll turn the fan on. So hopefully that makes sense to you. We're gonna measure the current through the circuit while we turn the circuit on. We're gonna see if is there any anomalies. Is this fan motor or the solenoid inside the fan clutch, is it shorting out and going crazy and spiking the amperage at a given duty cycle and blowing this fuse? And that's what we want to know. So no fancy screen recording today, folks. Sorry about that. We're gonna take it started up, and we're just gonna kick it on and look at the amperage, make sure the truck has control, make sure it can turn on. So enough talking, let's get started. So we're gonna pop into cooling fan, and we can see the feedback circuit on it is working. Right now it's being commanded at 13% just by itself, and I can see it up on our scan, or up on the Pico that it is. We're gonna change our time basis here, and then we're gonna crank this baby up, just so we can get it at a fixed duty cycle here. So right now we've got it about 70% duty cycle, or the command state of 70. It's not really a 70% duty cycle. It's being commanded on at 69%. It wants to see a certain RPM, so it's going to command it on as needed. I'll get some more time on our screen here. Alright, so we can see that our fan's being commanded on, and it does duty cycle. It's a solid state relay. But most importantly, what we see is that the peak amperage here is only about an amp. So that's pretty good, right? We're gonna run her all the way up to 100%. we can see the, whoa, fella, where are you here? There you go. We can see the desired fan speed and actual match. We can see it's being commanded on. I'm gonna go bump the RPMs up on it. Actually, Jay, will you hop in there for me? Hold it about 1,500, 2,000. Why don't you take a shut it off there for me, Jason? Wow, that's a lot of noise, folks. Must be what they call Chevy Thunder. Anyhow, you could see, hopefully you could see on a scan tool. So you know, when that, you see that solenoid turn on, you know, it doesn't look like solenoid shorted. Otherwise, you know, we'd be seeing that thing spike right out in real high amperage. But when Jason was holding it up, I know I couldn't show you guys, but even though we had it at 100%, it was commanding the cooling fan on at like 1,200 RPMs. It wasn't quite there, so you would see the amperage start to build a little bit until you could hear the fan roar, and then it would come back down. So it was just trying to modulate the fan at a certain speed. Long story short, everything appears to be working. And to be perfectly honest with you folks, when I looked at it initially, you know, I'd turned this thing on and off a bunch of times, and I'd seen it appears to work. You know, you command it, it commands it on, like I say, it modulates it, it tries to keep it at, you know, the commanded speed. So everything seems to work. So I don't know why it's blowing the fuse. At this point, what I'd like to do in my diagnosis, this is the point I kind of got to before I started the video, is I'm assuming there's something wrong. How you like that? It blows the fuse. Well, I assume there's something wrong, sir. That'll be $800. That's what doctors do. Unfortunately, unlike doctors, we actually have to fix the car. So I'm going to follow that harness down and around and try to do this without touching stuff. I know it's difficult to do. I'm assuming because this fan works, the engine's warmed up, I'm assuming there's a short somewhere. There's got to be a wire rubbing through. There's got to be something wrong. All right, folks, so here's what I see, or what I think I see. So we have the wires coming out of the viscous fan clutch right there, and they come down around town, and they, you can see the gray connector there, and then the wires go down there near the steering box, and I think I might be suspicious of, find it, right here. So the gray connector down under the little black bracket, and then they come right down here by the steering box. I'm wondering, right there where they go into that harness, it would be super sweet if the thing was just rubbed through, you know, right there where it hits the steering box, which would be really great, but I don't know. And that's about all I can see of it. So I'm thinking now that we see that, we can kind of tweak that back a little bit. I don't know if I can reach that through the inner fender or not. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we can see. I got my light shoved down there. I'm wondering. So I'm going to reach in here and push that back. I know the light's kind of in our way, but I need to be able to see. I'll see if we can push that back. It'd be awesome if that's rubbed through right there. If not, it was a good guess. Just ever so gingerly. We don't want to move a whole lot. That was kind of moany. Where are you, baby? I don't know. Hey, Jason, will you give me that wire diagram? I want to see what color wire I'm even looking for here. I think it was white. Yeah, just one of the wiring diagrams there. Yep, let's see here. So the wire from the fuse out of the relay is white. So let's have a little look-see here, folks. I'm thinking I saw white wire. I think I see bare wire. I hope it's on a white one. That'd be awesome. If not, we found a different short. I'm just kind of picking the insulation up. Just trying to pick the black insulation. I know you guys can't see sugar, but... And that one's only hot when the relay is on, so we don't have to worry about shorting anything. Wham bambino, baby. I see it. There it is. Let me see if I can hold this. Shoot. I gotta show you guys, otherwise you're not gonna believe me. Nobody ever believes me. I don't understand. Let's see. Hold on, folks. We're coming in. Let's see. Here we go. And let's see. Can you guys see it? Focus, you. There she goes. You see that little chafage down there on the white wire? A boom, just like that.
2 sensors in a wire skid?
Yes, sir.
Okay, buddy, on the shelf.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, you know what they say, folks. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. And so we're the blind squirrel. We were able to find it relatively quickly. Why the other shop couldn't locate it, I don't know. Now, it's not always that easy. But that's always my approach, and that's kind of what I wanted to show you from this video. Now, I had not looked in there before, so this could have been, you know, a lot longer and drawn out. But the best thing to do when you have a short is, you know, it depends on what kind of short it is. This, you know, obviously being an intermittent short, install a circuit breaker, measure the amperage. You know, is that component working? Is it, you know, starting to fail? You know, get some baseline data. Do not go in there and just start wiggling wires. If that, you know, if we reach down there and we're yanking and jerking on that harness and we pulled that back, it's likely, you know, it's gonna be a long time before that migrates back or, you know, corrodes through. So use a logical approach when you're doing stuff. Look at it, see where that harness runs. If you can't see, you know, pull up some diagrams. I showed you guys where you can get diagrams. Well, they also have like harness routing. A lot of the OE manufacturers do. Ford's particularly good about that. I don't know so much on GM, but you know, where does that wire run? Where does it go? And just think, you know, where's the most likely spot for this to rub through? These diesels, they vibrate like crazy. There's a lot of stuff jammed under the hood. Wiring harnesses are tight. So just kind of look, visual inspection, follow it around, you know, where it comes up. We know a lot of these Chevy trucks on these fuse boxes, they love to rub the wiring harness through where the harness comes out underneath this fuse box. I think I've done a couple videos on those. Just various, you know, random wires, whatever's on top of the harness. So I think we can get to that by pulling this fender liner out. So I'm going to do that to see if we can get in there to get to that wire, kind of open that up, repair it. We'll put some Testa tape on it, see if we can't, you know, move that harness up where it's not going to cause a problem again. This thing's a son of a mother to get to, folks. I got underneath here, and I'll give you a little better view of the chafage. There she is. So just in case you guys couldn't see it up top. Come on, focus. There she is. So now you can see where that rubbed through. I just took and opened up the harness. I only opened it up as far as I dared. You can only open it as far as you can repair it. And this thing is pretty snug to work on. I found it best to hit it from underneath here. So I'm going to take and do a wire repair on that wire there. I'm going to check the rest of the wires there, make sure nothing else rubbed through, and then try to get this harness put back together. And then I'm going to put some Testa tape, which is what they have on there from the factory, which is usually pretty good at not rubbing through. And then we got to make sure this harness is secured out of the way. 6 days later, folks, I got it. Let me show you what I did. So I ended up zip tying it. You can see it zip tie around that ground cable there. I want to keep it off from the steering box there where it initially chafed. I've got it all Testa taped up there. We shut that radio off for me, Jay, so we don't get in trouble on the YouTube. There we go. That's better. So you can see where the wire harness breaks out right there and comes down. Like I said, I put all the factory tape back on it. Put a couple extra layers just in case it has a tendency to migrate over there, which it shouldn't. It should be pretty solid now. Sitting here. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see it, but anyways, take my word for it. It's on here. It's solid. It's hooked to that ground wire. The wire is fixed, all taped up. There was actually 2 wires chafed, the white wire and a brown with white trace. There you have it, folks, fixing your 2013 Chevrolet that blows the fuse for the cooling fan. I don't know if it's a common issue on these or not, but that's neither here nor there. I know we've made lots of videos where I'm preaching you guys to use, you know, just a logical approach. look at your data, follow the evidence, fix the car. In this case, you know, if you were, let's say you're working on this at home and you had an amp clamp and you had a meter where you could read current, they're not super expensive. I was using the Pico scope on this, so you can use anything in your arsenal, anything that's going to read current to see where it was. Go on there, like I showed you in a previous video, get your service information from GM. You know, I think it was 20 bucks, 30 bucks, somewhere in there, pretty cheap. Get you access to it for 3 days. So this repair is not out of reach for anybody who has the ability to, you know, follow through and, you know, go with it. The fact of the matter is, though, you needed to know where you're going. What's that fuse run and what possibly could be wrong? We know that it blows the fuse. The guy blew multiple fuses with it. So either had component failure in the fan clutch itself, or we had a wire chafing through somewhere, you know, creating a short to ground, increase in amperage. The diagnosis on this was quick. You know, less than a half hour, probably start to finish, to find out what's wrong with it. The rest of the time was mucking around, getting under it, pulling skid plates, getting the harness back, getting access to it. So it took a lot longer to fix it than it did find out what was wrong with it. So why don't you guys tell me and find out what's wrong with this video? It doesn't even make sense. Go to that comment box. Questions, comments, criticisms, concerns. While you're down there, subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. Find us on our socials, Facebook, Insta. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.